Let's make one thing clear from the beginning. I am not Alan Watts. I'm a voice actor who works with Intellectual Wave. Well, now I decided to present you a collection of wisdom that I found fascinating. I believe you are all familiar with Dr. Jordan Peterson, as he is, well known for his sharp intellect and thought-provoking insights, and his words have certainly made an impact on many people. However, as I contemplate the idea of reading Dr. Peterson's words, I am struck by the realization that while his ideas may be fascinating and compelling, they are ultimately only words. For it is not the words themselves that hold the power, but the spirit behind them, the intention, the energy, the consciousness that infuses them with meaning. Well then, the first one is, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. This is indeed of utmost importance in everything we do in life. It is a reminder that we should not measure our worth based on external factors, but rather focus on our own personal journey. As in Zen, we have a concept called Shoshin, which means beginner's mind. To approach each moment with an open and empty mind, free from preconceptions and judgments. Now the second one is quiet, interesting. If you can't even clean up your own room, who the hell are you to give advice to the world? Well, while I may not entirely agree with the language used in Dr. Peterson's quote, I do see the value in the underlying message of taking personal responsibility and working to improve oneself. However, I would caution against taking this too far and becoming too focused on control and order. This reminds me of a monk who asked an old master, when hundreds, thousands, or myriads of objects come all at once, what should be done? The master replied, don't try to control them. What he means is that in whatever way objects come, do not try to change them. In fact, do not understand the master's reply as merely a brilliant admonition, but realize that it is the truth. As Dogen said brilliantly, even if you try to control what comes, it cannot be controlled. Now, this passage caught my attention. In his 12 Rules of Life, which I believe is beautifully written, he says, you are by no means only what you already know. You are also all that which you could know, if you only would. Thus you should never to sacrifice what you could be for what you are. You should never give up the better that resides within for the security you already have, and certainly not, when you have already caught a glimpse, an undeniable glimpse of something beyond. And this is quite true. We usually tend to close ourselves within our scientific view of the world. We see things as this, but not that. We live in a square, an imaginary square. That is the pure product of our own imagination. So seeking to free our true nature, to explore the unknown within ourselves, is perhaps the most unscientific, unconventional, and paradoxically, the most meaningful thing we could do. As Marshall McLuhan used to put it, every society honors its live conformists and its dead troublemakers. Before we move on, I want to remind you, I'm not Alan Watts. So if you like this video, press like and subscribe, or leave a comment, and to support Intellectual Wave on Patreon, you will find the details in the description. Now, the next quote I wrote here is the following. Strengthen the individual. Start with yourself. Take care with yourself. Define who you are. When we see our place in the grand scheme of things, the challenges of life become more manageable. But let us not forget the beauty of the journey itself, the wondrous dance of life. Let us not become so fixated on the destination that we forget to enjoy the steps we take along the way. Let us embrace the uncertainty, the chaos, the mystery of existence, and let it guide us towards our why, towards our purpose. For it is not just about enduring the how, but about living fully in every moment, with open hearts and curious minds. Dr. Peterson says in this, "To stand up straight with your shoulders back is to accept the terrible responsibility of life with eyes wide open. It means deciding to voluntarily transform the chaos of potential into the realities of habitable order. It means adopting the burden of self-conscious vulnerability and accepting the end of the unconscious paradise of childhood, where finitude and mortality are only dimly comprehended. It means willingly undertaking the sacrifices necessary to generate a productive and meaningful reality." In another similar quotes, he said, "The purpose of life is finding the largest burden that you can bear, and bearing it. If you don't stand your ground, then all that happens is people push you backwards. And they will push you, and push you, and push you, until you fall off a cliff." Let's take a moment to observe these sayings as they appear to be, the exact repetition of what history have been teaching us all the way. We start by lifting the burden of life. Then we attempt to impose order upon it. But in doing so, we inevitably fall into the trap of believing that our particular brand of order is the only correct one, and that all other ways of being are inherently chaotic and false. As we gather like-minded individuals to reinforce our sense of order, we begin to impose it upon others, and eventually upon other species and upon nature itself. And yet, despite all our efforts, chaos seems to be the only thing that remains constant. It is as if we are unable to recognize that our very desire for order is what leads us down this path to chaos. We fail to realize that true order can only arise through the understanding and acceptance of the natural ebb and flow of life, of the divine play of Leela. As our journey draws near its close, my dear friends, I invite you to dance with me in the rhythm of life. Like a melody, it is not the destination that holds the key, but the joy that accompanies us along the way. Let us embrace the dance of existence, savoring every step, every note, every moment. For life is not a race to the finish line, but a wondrous dance that unfolds with every beat of our hearts.